Maybe that's a little better.
Aha.
There you go. Now we're not blinding people.
Ah, nice, man. All right, wheels are still spinning. Boy, this is taking a long time here. Let's see.
We're lucky we're not at my shop because our Wi-Fi, there's a reason I'm at my house because our Wi-Fi is a little spotty. And every time you do a Zoom call like this, you'll cut out and it'll be gone for like 30 seconds and we'll come back.
Just perfect. Okay, I think we're live on Instagram. Don't do anything illegal for the next couple seconds. Then the other streams will fire up. Oh, there we go. There's a countdown. All right. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Happy Friday. Work from home Friday. I am Nick Slavic. I'm the proprietor of the Nick Slavic Painting and Restoration Company. Also the host of this show, Ask a Painter Live. It is a weekly live YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook show where we talk about the life of master craftspeople and paint business entrepreneurs. And one of my favorite paint business entrepreneurs is here, less his better half. This is Daniel, one of the 605 boys.
What up? What up? Thanks for having me, Nick.
Dude, anytime, man. We're going to get into how we met, your history, the fun, cool things that you and your business partner are doing. But first, we got to give some love to the PCA, an organization that both of us love very deeply. We paused for the summer. I'm going to temporarily cut your forehead off here in this so I can show the PCA's website. There we go. So we paused for summer because we know every single human is very, very busy in the summer. So what we are doing is firing up all these events back in the fall. So we got PCA in Espanol in September. We got residential coming up in September as well, too. We have Women in Paint in October. We have commercial in November. These are really cool events. They're really cool people in really cool places. Espanol and residential is going to be in San Antonio, Texas, in the Riverwalk, a place I have not been to since I was a very little kid. I will be looking forward to going back to that. Women in Paint is going to be in our beloved Nashville, home of some of the most awesome humans on earth. Also, our executive director, people like Matt and Maggie Kuiper, all those people call that place their home. Then Coronado, California. If you've never heard of Coronado, California, a couple things you should know. There is a hotel called the Hotel del Coronado. It is a monstrous 100-plus-year-old historic resort, kind of those seaside resorts. It's also where all the Navy SEALs train. So you can literally sit on a lawn chair, have a daiquiri, and watch Navy SEALs go through Hell Week right in front of you in the beach. And it is inspiring, to say the least. So I've been there a few times with my family, and it combines all those things. It combines military, it combines oceanside, it combines history. You will not find a cooler place, maybe besides the Broadmoor, to have an event. And then, of course, we go back to the expo, back by popular demand, Orlando, Florida. Bring your families. This is going to be an awesome event. So I will get rid of that, and let's go deep with Daniel. Daniel, we first met. I mean, we knew of each other in the industry, but we first really, really got to know each other at one of my retreats a few years ago. Yes?
Yes, sir. That was absolutely the best.
It was a good time. I'm actually prepping. I'm ordering all the fancy gift packages and special things for all the people right now. So what was your impression of the retreat? What surprised you? What did you take away? Give us some info.
Yeah, so I suppose a little bit further backstory. So I had been watching you for I don't know 6-8 years or so, and then finally we got to a turning point in our business where I'm like, we felt so isolated and alone. Like we're like, oh, we thought we were literally the only painting companies that were going through this, and we had no idea there was a community. Obviously, you've heard this theme, whenever I'm listening to the Bellsons and Russell Peaches, it's like we had no idea that this community existed. So there's this new era of painters who just need a little help, and so that's where the retreat came into play. I mentioned it to Kyle, and I mentioned it to the wife, and it's like, really, a weekend away with some business? This just sounds, what's going on, really? And it's like, let's just roll the dice. It was an investment. We were questioning whether or not we obviously could afford it at the time. It's like, where are we going to spend this money, and what's going to be the return on investment? We made so many friends, and like our customers, they do business with people they like, know, and trust. Similar to making friends at the Nick Slavic summer. We went to the winter retreat.
Yep.
Those friends helped pour into us. Like literally right after there, they were like, "Dude, we believe in you guys. We want to help you. You're good people." And so like constantly people reaching out. Michael Cheney being significantly one of them, wanting to help, sharing Google Sheets, all those kinds of things. Whereas a business owner, you're like, Oh my goodness. Obviously you're at the forefront. You're the known for the SOP guy, but also the G
Yep.
sheet guy. But yeah, the retreat was fantastic. I mean, number one, community, friendship, and then along with that, like we're having business conversations that are absolutely amazing. It's you can't talk to your competition about how you need to do better in your paint business here in my area. So you need to relocate yourself into the retreat and have other like-minded business owners who are in different states, different cities, wanting and doing the same things that you're aspiring to do. So the retreat definitely helped us to do that.
It's been really interesting because I think we're about to start. I think it's our ninth retreat over 4.5 years. So obviously, I've been there for every one of them, and it was a very sort of experimental thing at first, but very quickly we realized what the potential was. And I like witnessing the change in humans. So I've been teaching my young Doge team, my college kids, how to estimate this week. And the one thing I make them pay attention to is, what is the client's affect when we ring the doorbell, and what is the client's affect when we leave? And if we do our job right, there is a noticeable difference in, they're a little bit standing in the doorway, they're a little bit sword and shield up, and at the end you see the smile, you see the openness, they ask some questions. And I say that because I have seen people take the deepest spiritual sigh of relief. From the moment they get there, they're nervous because literally everybody runs a bigger business, more interesting business. Everybody's doing something more interesting than you are there. So you feel like this immediate thing of strangers, intimidation, new place. I have to present with no support in a little bit, in a couple days here. I've never done this before. I don't have much time to prepare. And then you see people take this deep sigh of relief by the end of the week. And not only do they feel relief, like you said, now you have lifelong friends. Now it energizes you and stuff. So it is just remarkable. And I'm so glad we get to do that stuff together.
Yeah, I think who was it? I think I was presenting first. Yeah, but I wasn't presenting like very first, but out of Kyle
Yeah.
and I, like I
Yeah.
was the first one who was going to present, and it was day two. And thank goodness, because day one, you guys ripped. Who was it? It was Rob. It was Rob. You guys ripped Rob, and I was like, okay, yep, I got to go back to the drawing board. So Kyle and I were up to like 1 o'clock in the morning,
Yep.
decompressing, preparing, making sure that we're not going to look like fools when I go up there. And yeah, I was very blessed. Do not have any rookies go very first. Thank you for doing that.
No,
Day two
listen,
for the rookies.
dude, I think people understand how thoughtful I am with this stuff, but I don't think people understand it literally does take about 6 months of thought, not only to recruit people for this thing, because we're not recruiting painters. We're not recruiting people to fill a need. I'm recruiting some of the biggest thought leaders and trying to talk them into spending a week away from their families and their businesses and spending money and doing stuff like this. So that potpourri, that mix of people, it literally takes me 3 months of that 6 months to curate that. I find people in certain ways. I meet somebody at an event and I send them a little private message saying, hey, listen, I just got a feeling. I'm not, no pressure, but I think you would be really good fit for the retreat. Let us know if you can make it happen. And it's this constant curation of that. So number one, you got to get the mix of people. And then number two, you've seen me build the arc through there. The first night that we get there, energy is high. Everybody's crushing bush lights. We're at this crazy lodge. And I always started off with 2 to 3 of our most crusty veterans. Yeah, exactly. And I always started off with the veterans to set the pace. And I usually try to mix in somebody who I know is going to come with a solid ask that's got some technical things to it, some emotional things to it. I usually throw in somebody that I know we got to beat up a little bit. We got to do a little tough love, which you mentioned. And then we usually go for something high level. We want to get a Maggie Kuiper in there on the first night. We want to get a Jason Paris. We want to get somebody that's so far advanced beyond our stage that we get that mix. And you bring up an interesting thing, which is scrubbing your original ask and then starting over. People have come up to me and admitted afterwards that they had at least 2 or 3 asks written out. And by the time they presented, they just went with their gut, and it ended up being a pretty magical thing. So I think somewhere along the line, I should make an open call to all the veterans to post the scribbled out pages of their original asks and then put them online to see what it actually was. And I just love that, man. And I'm grateful for you guys both being there and doing it. So
Yeah, no doubt. No, it was awesome. I mean, that was immediately that we started job costing for the first time. I've been seeing it and hearing it from you. It's like, oh, you should job cost. You should job cost. And then it wasn't until, all of them like, you're not job costing. I'm like, look, this and that, this and that. They're like, no, like literally stop what you're doing. Michael's like, here's my job costing sheet. Like, here it is. And then shortly after that, we went to the expo because Maggie Kuiper towards the tail end of the retreat was like, hey, you guys are going to expo? Kyle and I are like, no, we're not going to expo. Like, dude, we're already as broke as it is. Like, this isn't going to work. And, but like, we were still on a high. It was like, dude, we're already so emotionally drained from this
I know.
retreat. We have so much to do. She goes, yeah, it's like literally next month. I'm like, yeah, I know. You're telling my pockets. Okay. And then I got to tell the wife I'm going back again for another business, event. And so, and then we did. And then it was like, oh my goodness. Found my business coach there, Andrew Briggs, who, shout out to that guy. Immediately we took job costing, immediately every single thing, marketing expenses. And now we're like way more detailed. Reporting is insane. I feel like we got one of the best project managers in the game working for us. I mean, it's insane. And now he can actually see all of his reporting and we can compare it to the other project managers in the country. And it's like, as a business owner, you wish you had all of this,
Yeah.
but you also wish you had the friends that I did, because it takes getting out of your comfort zone and going to a retreat and going to the expo to make those friends who will invest in you, hire that coach that you don't think you can afford, and double down.
Yep. It's not just taking out the checkbook to try to solve problems. It's talking to the people that will help you, guide you on where to spend your money in the best ways, because we do not have unlimited resources as young entrepreneurs, right? And as we grow these things, well, even the senior entrepreneurs, there's not unlimited resources for this stuff. So that's why we use our friends to curate this sort of thing. And what better base level of trust when you've lived with somebody and you've seen them shed a tear, you've seen them laugh, you've shared special moments either on a frozen lake or on a party barge pontoon at 2 a.m, floating around the lake underneath the stars. And you come to trust people in a different way. So it's like, I was just talking with somebody on a podcast how like Facebook and Instagram connections are awesome. They're connections. It broadened the entire world. I am now making the argument that our entire industry is changing because the advent of you young people and social media, right? So then you move from connections to friendships. You meet at a PCA event, but there's levels higher than that. There's levels of, you go to the retreat, I vacation with families from the retreat. My family and their family get together and we vacation. There are so many more levels to this, how you can deepen these relationships. And especially from somebody who's been alone in this industry for 25 of my 33 years, dude, you feel it. I feel it. This is a godsend. Like this is a deep sigh of relief. And not only that, it energizes us. So I'm grateful for all this.
Yeah, 100%. You said it.
So let's talk about 605 painting, right? I assume 605 came from the amount of energy drinks you drink in a day. Yes?
No,
No?
it's we found out it's not the only state, North Dakota also, but it's one of the only states that has a singular area code. So for us, yeah, so like North Dakota, I don't even know what the area code is, but for South Dakota, it's literally 605. That's the
Hold
entire
on.
area code
I
for the
didn't
entire
know
state.
that.
Yeah,
I,
so that,
I
I mean, when we were looking at names for the business, we wanted it to be, as we're doing a lot of this research, because it was very intentional, relatable. You want your customer to be able to relate to you, and what better way to do it than in the name of the business? And how do you do that without knowing the owner? Like Dan's painting or Kyle's painting. Like we thought of DK painting as like, no, like I never assumed it would get this big to where it'd be like a sellable asset at this point, but we definitely wanted something relatable without our names attached.
So I knew that signified your area, like using a zip code or an area code, but I had no idea you guys literally have one area code in the entire state. That's amazing.
Yeah, stay out of there. All right. The opportunity is here. So just stay away. Okay. We're in a
Well,
fantastic state.
no, listen, I'm a huge fan. So what's interesting is that I now see the name of your business as almost like this insider sort of thing, where if you are from your area, 605 means something special to you. Where for us, we just assume, yeah, it's his area code, whatever. But
Right.
it has a lot of weight to it that I hadn't considered before. That's really interesting.
Yeah. We weren't the first. We stole it from a running company here in town. That it was actually the coach that recruited me for college, and
Oh,
it was like, you know what? Yeah, I think 605 Penny has a nice ring to it. And then after that, I was like, oh, a bunch of 605s. And then I don't feel like we have a really good branding punch too, with the way our logo is. Color is a big thing.
yep.
So the state of South Dakota is actually the roller there. So we were very fortunate to kind of partner up and have really good branding. After year two, we rebranded and since then, it's been electric. You see our yard signs literally everywhere. Every single time we come in for an estimate, all of our project consultants are like, "Yep, there's another one." They kept saying they saw our signs around town, literally everywhere, and we're just putting yard signs in the lawns that we're doing the work in.
Yeah.
Um,
Dude,
And
I love it. You guys, I love so professional and consistent, but it's not to the point of craziness. Like some people can take branding too far. You guys have things that are deeply meaningful to the people in your area, which gives you that sense of being local and present and understanding the area, which is becoming more and more important in this industry. I see it as an emerging theme in marketing and branding. And of course, you guys pick a singular color and a singular theme, and even your fonts and everything are all sort of like aligned in the right direction. And dude, really nice work, man. That is superb. That is superb.
appreciate it. Yeah, we definitely it's definitely intentional. We didn't stumble upon a lot of this by accident. You know, the first 2 years, yeah, it was not great. Our branding wasn't great, but we were consistent. We were consistently ugly. And then after year two, it was like, nah, I think we got enough people like really nudging us. Really close friends are like, you guys are way too professional for that logo. And it was like, it was like a funeral. I felt like a funeral. Like I was at my own death, and I was like, you know, appreciate that. Like we needed that. And so since then color itself, you can stand out in the paint world. I mean, in the city, we stand out because I ask people, hey, what business in our city is purple? Anywhere.
Yeah.
And they have a hard time thinking of one. There's a bed company. No
Oh,
contractors are brave enough to wear purple. It's not
yeah, true.
it, yeah, so you can own a space with color alone as well as if you have a good swoosh, we call it, like roller marks or something
Yeah.
along the side that if you cover up the logo, of a Mountain Dew can, you still see the mountains in the background. We call that
Yep.
the
Yep.
swoosh. So that's how good we want our branding to be. Very intentional.
No, I love that, man. Let's talk about the advent of your painting company. So, why did you start a painting company? Where did Kyle come from? Where did you come from? How did all this come together to be this?
Loaded. Let's
You pick away at
open this
anything you
box.
want.
Kyle and I met. So my business partner, 50-50. My business partner, we met, let's see here, he was in second grade. I was in third grade, Halloween night. Our parents were trying to ditch their kids, both of them. And so, Kyle's got two siblings. I had two siblings. They both dropped the kids off, and we're all just sitting here like, okay, I don't know how our parents know each other, but cool. Like, I saw you at school. We're both same elementary school. We went out Halloween trick or treating, became good friends. Kyle and I had really good head on our shoulders. Out of all of our siblings, it was like we kind of gravitated towards each other. We had the same goals, aspirations. We wanted more. We came from humble beginnings, and it was like, yeah, dude, I don't want to rent a home ever in my life. I don't ever want to do that. I don't want to ever turn on the faucet and see the water trickle down, and that happened to my future kids. So
Oh,
literally, like those kinds of things, Kyle and I relate. You're going to get lunch, and the lunch lady tells you, "Hey, you're behind. Here's two slices of bread and a slice of cheese," and it's like, all right, I'm going to take this on the chin. And you had to grow up real quick. And Kyle and I are the same boat. So we came from the same kind of background. And we're like, dude, I don't know what it is. We're hyper competitive, but we're not going to fail no matter what it is. And
yeah.
we can get into the definition of what success is later. But like we both had this, like we want better for ourselves. Um, we worked for a different couple companies. Two of them happen to be other contractors here in town. And then
Painting
it was like,
contractors or other
Painting
trades?
painting contractors. Yep. So we worked at a local grocery store together. We worked for two different painting companies together. We just kind of gravitated towards each
Oh my,
other.
you guys were like peanut butter and chocolate all through life then.
Yep. Yep.
Oh my
And
God.
while we kind of split a little bit, I was in college. Kyle was painting, with his dad at a different painting contractor, and it was like, hey, I'm doing my thing. I'm going to school for education. I'm running cross country and track. And in the meantime, I'm like plotting. Yep. Maybe teaching isn't for me. I want holidays off. I want a lot of time and vacation. I want that liberty for my wife and I and my future kids. And and then all of a sudden, Kyle and I were working for a painting contractor, and he offered to lower our wage. We said no. We had all this kind of ready, all the branding and the name and all this picked out, and was like, you know what? Hey, we're good. Appreciate it. We'll pass. And then we get in my Pontiac
Offered to
Grand Prix,
lower, he offered to lower your wage.
lower the wage from $17 an hour to $12 an hour.
Why?
couldn't afford an hourly employee.
Oh,
Things weren't probably
okay.
going all that well.
Okay.
And so it was
Wow.
like, hey, no biggie. We're good. We're going to
Yeah.
stick it out. Then we get in the Pontiac Grand Prix of mine. We're driving away and we're like, well, I get married in 3 months, so I don't know how I'm supposed to pay for the wedding, but let's. You want to start? Want to do that thing at the painting company that we've been,
Oh my God.
desperately trying to get off. And it was like, dude, actually, that lady who bumped into us at KFC like last week. How would I give her a call? Sure enough, on the way to Air Madness to celebrate, we're gonna start, this painting company. We booked our first job, and then the very next day we had. I mean, literally that next morning we woke up and did an interior painting job.
Oh, amazing, man.
Yeah, so we did that, and then literally word kind of got around that Kyle and I were well known in the community, and that hey, we're starting a painting company. It was like boom, the leads started coming in, and it was like what the. I don't have enough hands, and so that was our biggest problem was labor. The first 2 years of our business, we had a ridiculous amount, 126 to be exact, sitting in the queue of people like I want a paint job and I want it now. And I was like, I'd love to help, but I don't know how I'm going to do it.
That's
So
incredible.
I finally threw in the brush a little bit, threw down the brush, started calling everybody back. I was Google mapping and using Zillow, and I was doing virtual estimates for an entire summer, selling them all, project managing from my desk chair. And then Kyle was still painting. And then after about 2, 3 months, I was like, dude, I need you in here. Like you could be doing this selling stuff,
Mm.
project managing and going in person to make sure everything's going really well. And then it just kind of skyrocketed from there. Once we both threw down the brushes, kind of had enough, and we thought, hey, there's actually some money to be made here if we can capitalize on all these people who want paint jobs from us. The
Oh,
hard part was him and I, we had built up this huge stack of Google reviews while him and I were painting. And the fear that Kyle kept telling me is, I'm the best painter. I'm the best painter. And it's like, okay, keep telling yourself that. Like there's somebody who can probably do it just as good. And for me, I'm like, dude, even if he does it, like, I'm watching your videos and it's like, hey, just shy of perfection. As long as it's pretty damn good, it's good enough for me. And,
yeah.
we're not getting any complaints, pretty damn good. I run a tight ship on operations. That's everything for me. And Kyle does everything sales
Yeah.
now. So thanks to the retreat, you guys looked at peep in our business. You're like, wait, you guys are kind of doing the same thing.
Hmm.
Why? I'm like, I don't know how it's supposed to be done. And you're like, if I didn't
Yeah.
have, you guys decide. And immediately it was like, cool, you're head of sales. I'm head of operations. Let's do this thing. Immediately it was like, cool. Now I can actually focus on these tasks instead of everything being a little blurry.
And you guys have made quite a few changes. You're already just rattling off changes in the business. Um, how long have you been in business, and what does the business look like now? Humans, revenue, things like that.
Okay, so we're about to celebrate 6 years in business as of July.
Awesome.
Yeah, started off painting and things like that. It's like our first fiscal year was 250 to what was it, 250K. And then after year 6, I started remembering all of these milestones and revenue. And now I just remember the last three specifically. It was like
Yeah. Right.
1.26 million, 1.76 million last year, and then we just cracked over a million as of yesterday.
Dude,
Um,
congrats, man. And we're going into the busy season too. The part
it's
where the big
insane.
arc of generation comes. So it's gonna be a big year, man. Cross the 2 million mark. Yes.
Yes. Oh, for sure. Yeah, we're aiming for 3 million, and if we're aiming for the sun and we land on the moon at 2.5, we're gonna
Yeah.
be happy with that. But I mean, we just weren't we had no idea that the sales process needed to be fine crafted. Like this is a really big thing here. And once we did that, I was like, okay, wait, you follow up on your leads? I've been selling, giving out estimates like this, and I'm selling them like hotcakes. And you can't find work. I'm confused here, but I,
Yeah.
so that's year 6. So yeah, year 6, we're aiming for 3. We'd be happy for 2.5. We stick to residential repaint. We started doing epoxy for like a year, and
Yeah.
then it was like driving our business with the e-brake on.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
it was just a wrench. And it was a wrench in our business. Like we loved doing it, all of
Yeah.
us. We loved it. And then production side of things, it was like, slowed down. Had to wait for flake to be ordered. All these things weren't readily available, as you talk
Yep.
about.
Yep.
And it was like, yeah, how about we drop that service and sell this equipment? And just because like what we're doing is we're seeing painting just kind of take off.
Yep.
And we can produce that way easier. We can call tonight. I can order it online and I can have the paint ordered and ready at 8, 9 o'clock in the morning
Yep.
versus having to wait 2, 3 weeks, for a pod, waiting for flake to deliver. So we dropped that. We niched down into strictly interior and exterior painting.
Yep.
we hone in on residential repaint. We do commercial repaint, but we do it really well. Make the customer experience. That's been my focus this last like 6 months. Customer experience, start to finish. Try to be unbiased. Don't think you're the best, but really like, you're asking in these surveys, you're creating them. You want to hear from your customers. You don't want to hear from your project manager how they did. You want to follow up with the homeowner. How was the experience? What was the conversation like? Those kinds of things. So working on building out all of that is kind of my focus on quality. And then, Kyle sales. And then my project manager, absolute rockstar human, producing work at such a high volume. And then I occasionally I'm like, hey, did you go check on that? He's like, dude, I don't have to on this one. I'm like, hey, I trust you. I'm helicoptering a little bit, but I'm all right. No biggie.
Yeah, there's many like little heroes journeys that all of us do go through, and I think is important to go through. Which is, you mentioned the floor epoxy thing. You're not doing that anymore. Harken back. Many people don't remember 5 years ago, I had a carpentry and drywall division in my company, and we do not do that anymore. And you could say, well, that was stupid. That was a shiny object. But I think you have to get one out of your system as an entrepreneur. I literally think you need to like just do that to know it's a bad idea, feel it, feel what it does to your business, so that when all these shiny objects come up in the future, you're like, remember floor epoxy? Are we going to get floor epoxied again? And you
Yeah.
use it as a hallmark in your business.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
what does the human structure look like now? You mentioned some project management and things. It's you and Kyle. Who else is in there?
Okay. So I'm head of operations. Kyle's head of sales. Right beneath Kyle is one project manager that's full time, and then we have a part time. The head of the University of Sioux Falls that I ran at. He's part time sales right now and training. He's just lifted off. He's like a little butterfly, just taking his first flights on his giving estimates or proposals by himself. And then on the other side of operations, we have an office coordinator that we hired in the middle of winter. Which what painting company hires in the middle of winter? We kind of knew we were exploding this how
Yeah.
we wanted the structure as we scale. We call it
Yep.
scaling with structure. And it was, it's like we don't want to go off without having all this internals. So we hired a Google G Sheet wizard guy who is amazing to our operations and smoothing and ironing out all of the chaos in the background.
Love it.
So we have an office coordinator who kind of deals with colors and things like that, kind of those mundane tasks that just need to get done, and then all the other stuff that he thrives at, way more important items beneath that, and helping to fix and create SOPs and systems. So he's helping to do that as our office coordinator, and then right beneath or beside him is our project manager Heath. Heath does a lot of project managing. We're at the point where we're like, can we afford another project manager? Okay. Now we're like, are we going to hit 3? Are we going to hit 2.5? Like, where are we going to land? That's where our business coach is going to be helping us with financial forecasting. Andrew Briggs has been super, super awesome with that. So that's where we're at now. I've been helping, my project manager as much as I can. I'm kind of surprised checking in on, some of our guys, making sure like, hey, I'm missing the call here. Hey, here's an extra gallon here of primer. Like, make sure you get this for this homeowner. I don't want any callbacks. So we're starting to keep track of callbacks, the percentage on jobs that we do, and what's the percentage of callbacks that we're doing? What's the percentage of jobs that we're doing and getting 5-star reviews?
Yeah.
So like, we're really like putting a lot of new systems, and shout out to my entire team. Like, we're nimble, like
Yeah.
we're young. Like, we don't care. We're so competitive. We don't care if it's like a thumb war. We want to kick your teeth in, and we want to do the absolute best, and we want to get better. It's one of our core values. So like we just want we demand really excellence is really what it is.
Oh, I love it. And it's been interesting because I create a narrative and a story around a lot of the people who come to the retreat. And there's preconceived notions I have, right? And as a professional recruiter for my own business and for the retreat and for the PCA, even at large, it's like, you get to have a pretty good system of sniffing out decent human beings, core values, and all this other stuff. And it's really interesting. I always like to summarize everybody's first time at the retreat with a very simple sort of thing. And me and the rest of the veteran retreaters, we all had decided that we were super inspired by the hunger and the energy and the dynamic that both you had. Because typically what you find in these sort of duopolies, these sort of things, is you have an integrator and a visionary. And you guys are that, but typically you don't match competitiveness, hunger, core values and optimism and happiness and love of family and care of others. And we walked away. I mean, there's a lot of us who've been doing this a lot of years. And the big impression that we took from you guys is like, man, we don't ever want to lose that. Like we want to keep that energy, that hunger, but also in a healthy, optimistic way where it's all positive instead of, you can see there's some business bro stuff that can leak in every once in a while that would make this very negative and very unhealthy. Just couldn't be more impressed by what you guys are doing and the attitudes and with you guys are doing it too. So hands off, yeah, kudos to you guys, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, no, I don't. We don't want to lose that either. We have a saying that, like Kyle, since we started, this business, it was if you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
And that was kind of like Jason Paris. He kind of came over to Kyle and I after we presented, and he was like, or he was presenting, and he was like, I want in my life now, like the stage where he is in life. He says, I'd like to have what the 605 guys have, and that's that like that drive, that like this and that. And I hope we don't lose that. I have such a passion for like entrepreneurship
Yeah.
that I think it would just bleed in. Like even if it wasn't 605 at some points, like investing into other small businesses, which I try to do as much as I humanly can. I invite high school kids, college kids, grown adults. I'm like, dude, I'll buy lunch. I'll explain everything of our business, and I want to see you succeed. And I poured into a high school, or it was actually a middle school kid that I was student teaching at the time. Poured into him a little bit. 1 year later, he had 605 edging, a concrete edging company. He was hiring teachers and doing everything, and I was like, dude, that's what I'm talking about. That
Love
right there, that's one of many conversations I've had where like you inspired me. I'm trying to inspire other people.
it.
It's been so awesome.
So I want to share with you probably one of the higher compliments, and I've not talked to you about this specifically, but it was 2 or 3 weeks after the retreat that you guys were at. One of the most veteran retreaters messaged me and just said, "Hey man, I remember the 605 boys talking about them going to a trampoline park to celebrate a win." And that person said, "What was that win? Do you remember what you guys were celebrating when you went to a trampoline park together?"
Yeah, so I probably said it really quick, but yeah, it was right after we just got our wage potentially decreased from 17 to 12. It was us celebrating, like, hey, we're gonna start a business together, and it was like, let's go to a trampoline park.
Oh, so that was the advent of the business. Because I said, God, I feel like I relayed what I remembered what it was, but it was a very quick thing that you guys just, I mean, it was just an off the cuff comment of, like, hey, we just went to this trampoline park to celebrate. But this person was so enamored with your guys' relationship and your intentionality with celebration in a way that's like joyous and fun and vibrant and full of energy. That person was inspired. They'd message me and said, "What the hell was that? I want some of that in my life, man." So that is huge, man. Thanks for filling that gap.
Yeah, no doubt. No, just celebrating that, Kyle and I, if we were at a customer's house painting, like I said, we're having fun. So we asked the homeowner, hey, you mind if we jump on the trampoline for a little bit? This is us when we were, I don't even know how old we were, 20, 21, and busted my first double backflip on a trampoline because Kyle wouldn't give up. He's like, no, you can do it, man. You can do it.
Oh, wow.
Double backflip. So when we decided to start our own thing, it was like no better way than to celebrate jumping on some trampolines.
And you guys are a couple of athletic guys too. I mean, you mentioned some distance running. I remember some football and some stuff going on too. I mean, you guys seem to keep active. What do you keep active with?
Yeah. So Kyle does basketball and weightlifting, and then I've since picked up weightlifting. He's been training me a little bit, and then yeah, I do literally everything: volleyball, football, tackle football league. It's another way to like get upset at my sales. So you didn't close that deal.
So I've actually seen pictures of you like full pads, helmet. Like this is not beer league flag football. Like you're out there crashing helmets and all this other stuff. Yes.
Yes, it's awesome, man. I just right before this, my coach actually sent me a message. In 2 weeks, there's another game. I was like, sweet. We thought the season was over. Let's
Oh,
do it. I just got to check with the wife, of course. Got to check with the wife. She's pregnant, so we're going to be expecting our first son here shortly. So it's like, yeah, we'll see about that.
next thing out of my mouth, man, because there are pictures of your wife pregnant, and I didn't know how close we were. I feel like we're getting close. Yes.
Oh, we're very close. Yeah, we got like all a bunch of baby stuff. The house is getting baby proof. It's like it's this weird. I have one of the most flexible jobs in the business, so I'm like, hey, no matter what. One of our, Kyle and I was like, dude, having kids before you could afford them scared the life out of me. And as a kid, it was like yeah, I don't want to do that to my future, my future kids. So
Oh,
this is a point where it was like, want to get married, want to get a home that we buy with the wife, and then kids. And
yeah.
so now we got to a point in the business where it was like, I think we could do this. So the wife and I we're now expecting a baby boy, and I can't be more thrilled. We were jacked. We're super
Dude.
stoked.
So yeah, as I think I remember probably a Facebook post where I first saw it's like a sort of either formal or informal announcement. And interesting. My first impression was, how nice would it be to have a freaking dad like you? Like that would be the greatest thing ever, man. Like you take all that energy and that athleticism and the care of others and this entrepreneurship stuff. Like, dude, that's going to be great for whoever that young person is.
Thank you. Yeah, I can't wait to pour into my son. I have so much to teach him.
Yeah, it's going to be so interesting to see and to watch along and be shoulder to shoulder with you guys as your families evolve and your business evolves and all
Mhm.
that fun stuff, man. What? Let's talk specifically about some business stuff. Oh, before we do that, W-2 painters subs. What's the model of your business?
Okay, great question. Okay, so first 2 years, I think, maybe two and a half, maybe up to three, we had up to 12 hourly guys. Again, I was managing a lot of them as best as I could. I loved it, education background. So I love to teach, similar to you in your online. So I love like a sponge. I love to learn. So I'm watching your stuff and I'm teaching my guys. We're having our prep pouches. We got all this jazz and colored tape and um, so I'm trying. And it was like, I don't have as good a systems as you do. I don't have the reporting to incentivize these guys. Um, how can I get, because again, we had like 12 hourly guys and we had like 100 houses to paint. And it's like, yeah,
Hmm.
that's not cutting it right now. I need to. So what I started doing is I started cold calling other painting companies, and I was like, "Hey, look, I got this house. Here's what it looks like," kind of thing. I had no idea what I was doing hiring another painting company, but I was in desperate need of trying to
Yeah,
fix a void in my business, which was labor. So started hiring other painting companies. The goal is they would never know, so they're wearing our T-shirts, so they're wearing an all blank white T-shirt. Then I found out very quickly these guys are usually really good at
yeah,
painting, like extremely good. And now they're teaching me how to paint. And I'm like, I thought I was top notch,
yeah.
learning from you and my own. And Kyle and I, because Kyle thought he was the best painter. So it's like, oh,
Everybody
yeah,
does.
we really know what we're doing as far as painting, which we did. Like a lot of the houses that Kyle and I would paint, we'd get done in a single day. Two
Yep,
coats, two colors, Kyle and I all the way around. Um, Sometimes it shocks people that you can get a house painted that quick. You
you
can if you
absolutely can.
know what you're doing. Um, just had a conversation with a homeowner. He couldn't believe it. I was like, yes, it happens, especially when there's five of them. Like it can happen. There's two of Kyle and I, and we did it in a day.
100%.
And,
Yep.
and we'd sleep in and then have caffeine. It's like
Yep.
that was kind of freedom. But uh, so yeah, I lost train of thought there. Okay, back to the structure. So
Yep.
year three had up to 12 hourly employees, started phone calling, and then it slowly kind of dwindled to more subcontractors and less hourly guys. And so now we have two hourly guys that work for us. A lot of like of that cabinet, kind of like fine detail type stuff that's really difficult. When I do a lot of the hiring for these painting contractors, it's kind of like if you're in the military, which I am not that brave, but you'd kind of be able to ask certain questions to be able to really know if they've been in the military or not.
Yeah.
So that's the way I've been able to. I'm still seasoning my hiring process,
Yep.
but I have a couple questions where it's like, oh yeah, what kind of paint do you typically use when you do this kind of thing, or tell me a little bit about your process, and then it's a bunch of gibberish, and it's like, okay,
Yep.
sounds
Yep.
good, man, and it's like, all right, um, and most guys, if you put a couple roadblocks in their way, like send me your W-9, send me your proof of insurance, you won't hear from them, and the really
Sometimes
good
that's the
ones.
biggest roadblock right there.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, you won't. And sometimes I care about people. Like yesterday, I was on the phone with Spanish-speaking insurance agent trying to get insurance for these people because I'm like, I know that they work for a different painting contractor of mine, and they're so good. And I'm like, all right, I got to help you. So literally for like an hour, we're translating and doing this and that, and yeah. So now we've worked up to mostly painting subcontractors and then two hourly employees and then obviously a lot of office staff to pull a lot of this off.
Yeah, love it, man. Let's talk about some current stuff in the business now. So what is the big thing you're working on now that needs the most work, that is not completed, that you think would give you the biggest return? Like the thing that's just glaring that needs the most improvement in your business right now.
Hmm, that is a great question because I'm a visionary, so my brain is scattered.
I hear you.
One of the biggest things that we could do to tweak sales.
Yeah.
I think increasing sales. I think operation side, like it's just this fine like teeter totter of like, hey, you need this, we need this. This is going really well. This isn't.
You have too
Sales
much
is
labor, not enough
absolutely
sales. Too much
crushing it.
sales, not enough labor. And it just kind of like, you have to keep managing that teeter totter back and forth all the time.
Yeah, I would like to say sales or yeah, I was gonna reach out to you and ask you about this too, but like paint ordering,
Oh yeah.
systematizing paint ordering, because like we got guys painting houses in a day, and it's like boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom. My sales team is absolutely crushing it. They're crushing it. We're hitting milestones. Like I said, we just hit $1 million as of yesterday. I sent that over to Kyle, and as you already knew, but I'm like, dude, what a celebration! Like we should celebrate. This is kind of neat.
Yeah.
And so they're already crushing it, but I challenged them. I'm like, hey, like we got one of the best PMs in the industry, so like keep feeding us some more. Our guys are great. We like last year we did an HOA, an entire city block down and back, 2 colors, 5 days.
Ah, man. That's moving.
Insane. That's with 5 guys. Insane.
That is moving.
So could Kyle and I do that? No, no, we're not doing that. I'd rather crack some caffeine, deliver some Gatorades, and like, all right, focus on the higher level stuff. I wouldn't enjoy that. As a painter myself, you know it too. It's like these guys work hard. So I try my best stopping in. It's like, dude, we appreciate you guys so dang much. Like one of our guys, I was happening to talk to him through Google Translate, and he mentioned something about like his kid. He has 2 little boys. Something about needing a bicycle, and I was like, that's it. I'm on it.
That's
So
awesome.
I was like, "Hey, meet me at Walmart. We're gonna be bidding out something like the inside of it." And he goes, "Okay." We walk inside near the bike area. I go, pick out a bike for your little one because
Man.
he goes, "No, like basically no way." And it's so super cool. And then he sends me pictures of his little boy,
Oh,
on his bike, and those are the things that's like, I don't know if people care about people, but like one of the things that we got at the retreat out of was like maybe I care too much. One of my I shared at the retreat that one of my painters were like, dude, I think you care about my paycheck more than I care about my paycheck.
yep. Yep.
And that's when it kind of stood me back. I was like, dang, we really care about people over here. Like we really do. We do demand like very, very good service, but at the same time, like, man, we care. And maybe we care at our detriment.
Well, yes. Everybody who does this right does take it a little too far in the empathy scale every once in a while and is taken advantage of. But as business owners, you have to test the limits of things, right? And I would never give business owners the advice, and I would never receive the advice that you need to be less empathetic, because you need to, on average, all businesses need to be a little more empathetic. And honestly, I think that is a very winning strategy, especially since COVID and on into the future. I think contracting has definitely changed. The trades have definitely changed. And I think the rest of the world is changing too. And I think, well, you obviously win with humans. And I think the whole workforce now demands a little bit more empathy out there. So whether you want to give it or not, that's what your clients, some of your employees demand. And I think if you don't give it to them, I think you're going to be at a huge disadvantage, right?
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Brad Ellison too. Like
Oh,
those guys are doing similar things to us. And
yeah.
again, like it's crazy. Sometimes I look at the Brad Ellison of which is only one of them. I wouldn't say the Brad Ellisons, but there's probably a couple out there I haven't met just yet. But like their takeoff on their business is so quick, and
Yeah.
I thought we were doing it pretty quick. And then you think you're doing it quick, and then people just keep doing it quicker. And
Yeah.
it was like I understand why. Like I was listening to Hoken over at Olive and Brett Ellison chatting on a podcast, and it was like he literally is, you just copy and paste and tweak, and it's like, yeah, you probably could because they literally did all the things that they shouldn't have done before, and you can learn from them. So we're probably going to see a lot of that in the industry, as you already know.
Yep.
People learning from other people's mistakes, and the painting trade is just taking off. I feel like got one of the best jobs in the world. Truly, it's just who would have thought? Who would have thought? Like painting. I mean, sometimes you look at people and they're like, "Oh, what do you do?" It's like, "Oh, I co-own a 6 by painting, a painting company." Yes, they're like whatever, but some people's like it's painting. But for me, it's like you said it. This is a freedom machine. This really is. Like I said, I have one of the most flexible jobs in the world. Get to come here and get a pump before I hop on this call with you. It's like, who gets to do that?
It's
Like
amazing.
this is insane.
So every time I kind of, coming from the upper Midwest and especially Minnesota, some of us can suffer from low self-esteem sometimes. I don't feel that's you and Kyle as much as me for sure, but sometimes we can be like, well, we're just house painters, right? But as the PCA chairman, I get a lot of vendors trying to solicit stuff to our beautiful 140-year-old nonprofit. And in one of the solicitations I recently got, somebody gave a bunch of letters of recommendations from other associations. And the associations were the Southern United States Alliance of Truck Tire Dealers. That's another industry that we could be in. This is hilarious. The Digital Vending Machine of California Association, right? So like when I think of like our PCA Expo and how vibrant and young and diverse and entrepreneurial it is, if we went to the commercial truck tire division of the southern states, I don't know that we'd see a bunch of you and Kyle's and me's there and all these other people. I feel like it's a different vibe. So that always puts it in check for me. Like if you were in the truck tire alliance of southern states, I don't know that there's this energy and this optimism and this like, oh my God, discovery. We're doing new things, new models. I'm doing something that nobody else is doing, even though it's like a kind of standard thing out in the rest of the world. It's new here and it's interesting. And there's new young people being interested in the trades. And I get more grateful for what we're doing in our industry because this is a special industry at a special time. And there's always going to be these things. It's like you think about the people there that were at the advent of personal computing in the 80s, and then the people here at the advent of artificial intelligence now. And you think, what a fun time to be in an industry when this whole thing innovates, professionalizes, and just comes out of the dark age, man. I'm grateful we're all doing this together. It's a fun thing.
Yeah, I just can't believe the painting business is really good as it is. And at the beginning part of it was like, I want success for me and my family. And then it was like, really? I could actually have, part of our pushing in and pouring into our guys who work for us. It's like, dude, I want you guys to own homes. Like, go
Yeah.
talk to this mortgage, guy. Go do that. Go do that. And then I'm like, would anybody want to be an owner? Like, I'd like to go to a different city and do the same thing with a person who's just like me, who's just as hungry. There is room for you in this industry. And yes, you're not wrong. I think we have like one of the coolest industries ever. Like if I was selling, I don't even want to say a different trade because I don't want to offend anybody, but
No, right.
like dude, we're selling paint jobs. Like this is exciting stuff for homeowners, and it should be. And if it isn't, you need to tweak your process. And so yeah, this is like a flashy, like sexy thing that we're doing for homeowners. We get a transformer. Like I get excited when I do proposals. I'm like, are you kidding me? You get to pick any color. You get to do what you want in the exterior home. This is exciting. Like this
And in
should be
one
exciting.
day, it can all change in one day,
That's
right?
insane. Yes.
Yeah.
Some people get upset with that. This one day, like I ask people all the time, like, hey, would you get upset if your house got painted today? Because at this point, we get two, like the 5-star reviews are flying in for us.
Yeah.
But the only complaint we get is, hey, it did get done pretty quick. And it's like, okay, is that a compliment? I don't know. Is there anything wrong? Is there anything wrong? No,
Dude,
no, really, everything's great.
we've done that same thing too before where T&M work is a very interesting psychological endeavor because we only get two things. Well, I shouldn't say that. T&M works pretty well for us. We found a way to function with it. But I think I was even commiserating to you guys at the retreat one time. Like T&M is a psychological mind F at some point because we typically only get two responses. You took way too much time, or we even had the responses, I don't think you used enough time. And I was like, oh, I thought we were being good stewards of your finances. Like, so it's all, but again, it's people not wanting to be taken advantage of. And it's a feelings based thing, not a data, because if they didn't witness the process and they just looked at before and after, and there was a dollar amount cost to it, most people are fine with it. It's when they feel like something was it feels like they've been taken advantage at some point, and you got to understand that contracting comes with a stigma, right? And
Mhm. Yeah, but we try to take as much ownership as we can. So we try to, is it a people problem or a process
yeah,
problem? And we're
exactly.
like, can we tweak something in our process to make this go a little, and a lot of it's expectation. And so it's like, okay, new SOP, like we're gonna start to like tell people like this is the expectation. This could happen depending on the team and the quantity of people that we stick there. Like, yeah, this could. If I put, 5 guys on there, that's a lot of guys for one job site. As you know, you would be like one guy is the perfect
Yeah,
number of guys. Uh, so if you stick 5 of them that really know what they're doing and they wake up every single day to do this, yeah, they get pretty dang good at it. Like these
100%.
guys, these are painters that are doing this for a career. These aren't high school kids. Like that's one of the things that we advocate is like we're not hiring high school kids. We're not. As much as I love high school kids, I'd love to teach them about business. Like there's a place for you. Probably not at our painting company yet.
Yep.
Not yet, except for our door knocking team. We do have some high school guys. I mean, I forget about those guys. Sorry, I got to take those guys out for lunch. Now I'm talking out loud here.
Yeah.
So yeah, your electric scooters, we're doing the same thing and it's crushing it. We're
um,
gonna keep pouring into that. We're taking ideas from the industry. It's like, yeah, we're gonna try that, and all of a sudden it's like, oh my goodness, that's a nice looking spoiler on our business. We're gonna keep doing that.
so asking you for a promise, which is as we get towards the end of summer, let's swap some street team data because I know both of us have data we can trust. And I really want to dive deep into this because this year we did experiments last year, which is good. Experiments are just experiments. But this year, full fledged humans in the field, 5, 6 scooters, management team. And I really want to swap some data with you later on.
Oh, I already have some questions for you, baby.
Oh, dude, we're going to have them for each other because the flow of data and the feelings, the flow of data and feelings coming in is more interesting than I ever could have hoped. And I cannot wait to digest it all and then put it into something and talk to people like you about it. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, exciting stuff. Yeah, I feel like I'm clogging up a spot to go to another retreat. I really do because I know how valuable it was for Kyle and I.
Yeah.
So literally, Kyle's like, "Oh, you want to go?" And I was like, "Dude, honestly, I feel like we're gonna be hogging up a seat, truly, because I know it's limited. I know the dynamic of the choosing of people and the kinds of people you need to bring. So I'm like, okay, maybe it's not for us. We got a lot to work on before we come back. But
Now you
let's see.
listen, the veterans are always welcome. And I go to my veterans first. I build out the veteran, the alum first, and to get that good mix in there. Because again, when you guys were there for the first time, you take a look at the people who have done it before there. I presented to you the most diverse menu of businesses, geographical, old, young, commercial, residential, on purpose so that everybody gets max value. If everybody was at your stage of business, it's a very interesting thing, not nearly as interesting as when you get the diversity in there, which is a beautiful thing. So,
Mhm.
um,
Yeah.
real quick, let's talk about some marketing efforts because my thesis over the last year and a half, 2 years has been marketing is going to need much more effort. What's working for you guys? What's not working? What do you want to work? Tell me more about that because you guys aren't going to grow as fast as you are without marketing.
Okay, I don't know if I shared that. Yeah, we did share this at the retreat, but yeah, for a lot of the listeners too, we're kind of a purple cow. It's kind of our purple cow. Our marketing is our branding, our name, our advertising of yard signs, our
Mhm.
vehicle wraps. We have not paid for advertising up until February or March, one of the two
Mhm.
months. I'd have to look back at when we first kicked off marketing. It's the first time we ever turned on the hose for the most part. It's like, hey, we're going to intentionally do this. Because for the longest time, it was we didn't know how we were going to complete a lot of these jobs. And the leads naturally, since our Google page, our Google business profile is so good and so far beyond a lot of our peers here in our area that it was like we naturally get all the phone calls. When I see the other guy's yard sign, I'm like, cool, because they're going to call me. If they're getting 3 estimates, they're calling me on one of them. I know it. So it's like it's perfect. So when I see other guys running ads on Google, I'm like, cool, because they're going to call me. And now I'm like, all right, now we're at a certain part where we're getting in all of this organic, but now we're tweaking the sales process. We're hiring more sales guys. Now what do we do? We've never done true like
Yeah.
advertising dollars, and it's really scary because you don't know who you can trust with your money. There's a lot of scammers out there. Okay. I say that jokingly because we just never do it as a business. It wasn't the business model Kyle and I wanted to do. We wanted to do really good work, be really well known, and that has served us very, very well. And then the hard part was keeping that same level of quality as we scale. We've done just that. And so now we're still getting in all of this organic traffic on our Facebook page, on our Google page. I optimize our Google business page often. So I do like, that's a little bit of our marketing efforts. I know you do a lot of the marketing for your business or all of it. But yeah, we're going to be trying out some new stuff. I mean, GLSAs is one of the things our business coach is like, you should do that. It's really cheap. It's like, okay, we'll try that. We got so busy once we turned on like GLSAs and Facebook ads briefly, we had to shut them off. It was like,
Oh, that's
whoa,
awesome.
whoa, whoa. That's why we hired on just for the summer. And I was like, oh man, we're at this point where it's like, do we hire another project consultant for the entire year? That's where we're at now. It's like, do we hire another one full time? That means I might have to hire another project manager full time, and that's a little scary. So now we're working on fine tuning some systems so we can scale a structure and turn back on the advertising. So yeah, if anybody wants to reach out, I can kind of share through a lot of the tactics that we did to get all of these leads for free, if you will. It costs some money, but a lot of this is all organic. Like we just be a really good human, do really good work. Follow, if somebody has an issue, be good to them. And we've been doing that, and we've seen people. They just raving fans, as you know. People, it's awesome. We just had a customer yesterday leave us 3 reviews on one home, husband and wife, and they went on Facebook as well. And I was like,
Oh,
this is
dang.
insane. Heath, that has never happened in company history. You are crushing it. We've had husband and wife, but not husband, wife, and Facebook recommendation. That is ridiculous.
So interestingly enough, I was on a podcast this morning. We were talking about just strategies to solve problems, right? And there's like time, there's money, and then there's both, a combination of those things. And I think when I talk to a lot of contractors, what they want is to spend almost no money and certainly no time and have this solved for them. And they want to be very passive in it. And that is not how you get marketing, how you get leads from marketing quick, consistently, right? My impression of your guys' personalities, and when you see the rate and the velocity of which you get 5-star reviews, you guys are spending a lot of your effort, whether it's intentional, whether it's hard, whether it's easy. You guys are very intentional, just like you with the contractor and the bike. Like you are doing things instead of shelling out money. And my impression is you guys, that is a strategy that fits with your personality. And yes, we're going to have to mix in money sooner or later, but you guys have gotten an enormous way down the road without spending marketing. And I believe it's substituting that effort, what I know of you guys. So I'm always careful, especially in the day and age where everybody wants marketing solved for them because it's getting tougher. My impression, what I know of you guys, is that you are thoughtful, you like doing it, and you spend a lot of energy. Most contractors, when I talk to them, I tell them, well, just, print off a bunch of flyers and go door to door and ask for work. And they're like, oh, like they don't want to hear that. I feel like that's a natural thing for you guys to gravitate towards humans and do that. So put an asterisk next to that. That's a way to solve it. You got to have your guys' no, you don't have to have your personalities. You got to have the drive to do it and then do it consistently like you guys have very successfully.
Yeah, my brother owns a painting company here in town. He's worked for us for a little on and off. He kind of, gets his own jobs here and there. He was a little low on leads one day. I'm like, dude, hit some doors. He goes, that's doing too much. And I'm like, okay, all right then. I mean, what are you doing? Yeah, so you're not wrong. Like for me, I'm checking in on job sites and I'm checking in on my project manager. Hey, not a yard sign on these 2 jobs. Just a heads up. Just a heads up. He goes, literally the 2 jobs that I have yet to get to yet. I'm like, okay, sure enough, whatever. But yeah, it's intentional. Like it takes effort to drive to that job site, verify the yard sign, verify the quality of work. It's effort. But updating your Google business profile. How often, Google is king and we get a lot of our leads from Google. How often Google's like a teacher and we're the students handing in homework. If you hand in your homework, if you don't hand in your homework, you don't update, you don't add a photo here or there, you're not giving it any homework. What are they going to grade you? F. Yep, that guy still didn't show up to class. Didn't show up to class next. And then they see 6 of 5 painting. It's like, holy, this guy posts to Google every day. Yep.
Yeah, the teacher
Yep, over
gives
here.
attention
Over
to
here.
the students that do stuff. Yeah, magically.
Yeah, magically we get a lot of leads organically. It's like, but it takes effort to post and do updates and research on your Google Search Console, all the keywords that are popping up in your area, respond to reviews with those keywords. It's like, maybe it's luck. I don't know.
What is one innovative or interesting thing you guys do that you think other contractors may not be doing?
Other contractors, painters,
Yeah,
like
like there's people in our industry. Like if we were all to crack your business open, what would all of us like? Oh, hey, I got more questions about that, or something like that.
what do we do that's different? Dang, the secret sauce of our business. Shoot, C4. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
energy drinks.
you're not wrong. It's a lot of effort, meeting cadences.
Yeah.
You know, I guess as far as the painting, who meets regularly with their project manager,
Mm.
who has a separate meeting for their leadership team, who at 8 a, look, 8 a.m. this day, 8 a.m. this day, 8 a.m. this day. That was like this last year now. We've been very intentional. So as far as the painting industry, we all know how unprofessionalized it can be. That's what we're doing a little different. We're starting to dive in, be more serious with our sales, be more serious with our customers and and the quality of the work. Whereas how many guys are wanting to get in and out as quick as humanly possible and get out of there? It's like I've had a homeowner who had a little issue. It's like, hey, you just want the bill. And it's like, no, actually, we had some surfactant leaching
Oh
occur over winter. Didn't require them to pay a penny all winter long, and then come around, we did the touch ups, and he was like, hey, I think I deserve a discount. I said, absolutely. Like, it was unfortunate that this happened, but I mean, let's do it. If that works. Um, and yeah, we ended up giving a discount there, but the fact that I never brought up the bill one time, asking for money. We've built out this business to be financially stable enough to be able to do that. And I don't think a lot of painting companies would be able to do that because
yeah.
typically it's I need
Right.
money and I need it now.
Yep.
And so when you do business with us and it's not immediately about the money and it's more like, hey, no, like let me come to your home before you pay me. Let me come to your home and make sure that this surfactant leaching is gone and looking well. They were like, this is insane. This is another level of customer service. And that's what we're trying to shoot for. Very, very intentional, which comes at a cost. We're paying some coaching to help us with this reporting so I can, show my project manager, dude, you got 20%. Like, come on now. We both know that's average. You should be better than that. Come on. Yeah, we'd like to see 40 to 50%, which is insane, right? But
Mhm.
we are insane with our expectations. Like at the same time, we want to play hard and we also want to party hard. So we also like, hey, I want to incentivize this. Like, let's go shoot for the moon.
Yeah.
Like, I'm coming for you, Jason Paris. I'm coming for you, and your little 700 Google reviews. I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you, Brad Ellison. Just cracked over 400. Congratulations. We're coming for you. We're coming. We're coming.
I didn't know there were 700 people in South Dakota. It's interesting.
Well, no, in Minnesota, Jason Paris Painting, they just cracked
I
over
know.
700 Google reviews. But oh yes, Nick, there will be. There will be.
You're going to
What's
paint
nice is
those
we
houses
thought,
3 times.
yeah, we went to the residential conference, and that was one of my questions to the Olive team was like, hey, per capita of human beings, where do you think it caps out at? And they basically told me you're not even scratching the
You're not
surface.
even scratching the
If
surface.
you think I'm like mind blown, hone in, double down, let's get it going. So yes, even if there's 700 people, Nick, uh, paint their houses 1,400 times. Okay.
Exactly. Well, that's the whole thing too. Like we're always met with these things, and I love where your guys' heads at. You're always searching for that economic perspective, like because you are in a frontier town, right? And I am in a town of 8,000 people. I'm literally surrounded by fields, right? And I will get a Facebook message from somebody from Chicago saying, "These freaking kids these days are so stupid and lazy. I can't find a single employee." I was like, in Chicago. Millions of people. You can't find anybody. I found 40 in and around my farm town, right? I didn't have fiber internet up until a year ago here. So tell me again, like, it feels like it might be your problem instead of
Yeah.
them. It feels like you may be down on humanity, right? So it is that perspective of like, what's the limit? And when we talk to people who actually know what the limit is, there is really not one right now. And that's why I love this industry. Because tell me another industry. If you're selling life insurance, I feel like that's commoditized and there's a limit, right?
Yep.
I feel like that you can't really differentiate between service and price. You just either sell to your friends and family or their friends and family, or you don't. And But now this is like blue ocean here in our industry, man. It's so fun.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, that's probably one of the biggest takeaways, and that's what makes me love my job even more. And that's where I turn the tables like, okay, so it's not per capita. It's like literally our job is just to convince people like, hey, look, you painted it. And now our job is to tell you like, change the color, new theme, like color of the year, like refresh. You lived in it a year. You got dogs. There's dust on the wall. Paint it again.
Yep.
And so that's where I say like our biggest probably motivator is like more sales. Like, why not? We have the labor to capacity. Let's pour some money into marketing and have a little fun with this thing.
The biggest theme that I took away from the last year and a half of deep diving and asking my friends for advice and help and for their SOPs and stuff is that a lot of the biggest companies in our industry are niching down as far as the areas they serve and just pouring more intentional effort, layered effort of marketing into those areas. And you see $15 million paint companies that find another 2 million within the same neighborhoods that they already do. They're not going to the second location. They're not going to the other one. It just tells you how much of an unmet need and how unprofessional it is. It's for the taking. And sometimes our limiting beliefs would be like, well, I'm only from a town of 8,000, or listen, my city only has 80,000 people in it. And then we're not surrounded by other major metros. Well, listen, how many projects do you need a year? 500? There's 80,000 people there. Like you can't convince 600 people to do that. You know what I mean? So it is that perspective. And I love that you guys think about that stuff because that's what's going on in the industry. And if you don't feel like having SOPs, if you don't feel like having a metric-based bidding system, if you don't feel like having a brand, if you don't feel like hiring, if you don't feel like taking care of humans and going the extra mile for your clients, guess what? Right now, only 1% of the industry is like 605. In the coming years, it's going to be a noticeable more percent. So whether you want to do all that stuff or not, it's going to be much harder for you to go out there and be an unprofessional contractor because dudes like this are around in the industry. So whether you want to or not, I would say it's a pretty good strategy. Do those things. Do whatever you're saying right there.
Yep. Well, you hit it on the nail on the coffin with it, with not going too far out. That was really big. It was humbling. It was like, oh yeah, 45 minutes away. It's like, why would we go 45 minutes away? Like, do you realize that like literally right there, like you can almost touch the house. It needs paint. Go knock on the door. Get out of my face. Okay. What are we doing here?
You're driving past 3 towns of 30,000 people to get to the other town.
Yes.
What the hell are we doing after a while? You know?
Exactly. It's like it throws another wrench in there. It's like this is kind of like epoxy. Next, no, let's stick to what we're good at, and that's our town that is already growing like crazy. Double down, put the signs around, and yeah, elevate some lives while doing it.
Dude, it's absolutely perfect, man. If people want to get a hold of you and Kyle, how do they do it?
I will probably comment on this link with my email, my personal email. And yeah, we'll go from there. Reach on out. I love to hop on calls. Even if you're at a young stage in your business, I'd love to help wherever I can. I could be just a small stepping stone.
Dude, and carve out a little time for the PCA. We may be calling on you in the next couple of years here as I'm transitioning out and there's room here for other people. So be prepared.
Gosh dang, you people and their nonprofits wanting me to be on board. So just somebody bought me a juice stop the other day. It's like, oh, you should be on the board. It's like, I got a kid on the way.
We all got kids on the way. Don't worry about it. This is a fun time of life, man. It's businesses, it's kids, it's involvement in this stuff, and we wouldn't have it any other way. So
love it. Appreciate it.
All right, man. Appreciate you. Appreciate Kyle. Appreciate everything you guys are doing for the industry. And I love that you guys are reaching out with the energy that you do because you're not just keeping it to yourself. And the entire industry is grateful for you guys and for that. So thank you for that very much.
Absolutely. Thanks, Nick. Thanks for having me, man.
Yep. All right, everybody. That's been Ask a Painter Live. We will see you next week.